Nightly greetings, one and all. Monique Two's on here, homegrown, and happy to be bringing you the major events that have unfolded here at home and abroad within the 24-hour news cycle. And at the top of the heap tonight, 'tis the eve of election weekend in Russia, and Russian leader and strongman Vladimir Putin is urging all his compatriots and countrymen to go out and vote beginning tomorrow and up to Sunday. Incumbent President Vladimir Putin is the prohibitive favorite to win, with no serious challengers willing to take on him for apparent reasons. And earlier today, he urged all Russians to vote at this difficult time for the country as he seeks another 6-year extension, thus cementing him as the longest reigning Russian leader since Catherine the Great in the 18th century. And the Kremlin is filled with confidence. The election results will show the Russian people is fully behind his leadership without any serious challenge to his rule as Russia's strongman. The elections are scheduled beginning tomorrow up to Sunday, the 7th. She is the most serious challenge to the dictatorship of strongman and Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro. And just like the late Alexei Navalny was a serious threat to Vladimir Putin, Maria Corina Machado has shown that she could not only dominate the opposition like she did in the October primary last year, where she earned 92% of the vote, but realistically and likely topple Maduro from power in a free and fair elections, as the polls show. Then again, Maduro's cronies and corrupt allies in the state government have ensured an upset is not bound to happen when Machado was declared disqualified from the race on trumped-up charges of corruption. This has not slowed Machado down as she continues to galvanize the crowds in all her rallies. POTUS Joe Biden has vowed to keep Israel safe and protected. He is also fed up with Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu, who has repeatedly ignored and defied his pleas to keep Palestinian civilians out of the line of fire and to suspend or give up an impending attack on Rafah. Thus, Israel might find its steady supply of arms and weapons on hold if Netanyahu insists on his my way or the highway stance. VOA's White House Bureau Chief Patsy Widakuswara has the full story.
Israel's military campaign in Gaza and its effect on Palestinian civilians has been the focus of international condemnation.
The natural way of providing support through roads is being closed, artificially closed. And starvation is being used as a war arm.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is defiant.
None of these pressures will stop us. Israel's very future, its very survival is at stake.
But amid mounting casualties and starving Gazans, Israel's staunchest supporter, President Joe Biden, is losing patience. Here's what he said in an interview with MSNBC Saturday.
The defense of Israel is still critical, so there's no red line. I'm going to cut off all weapons so they don't have the Iron Dome to protect them. They don't have. But there's red lines that if he crosses, and he cannot have 30,000 more Palestinians dead as a consequence of going after. There's other ways to deal.
Biden is increasingly showing his frustration with Netanyahu, including over Israeli policies that slow down overland delivery of much-needed humanitarian aid. The U.S. has joined other countries to airdrop aid, and American troops are heading to the Mediterranean to build a temporary pier off the coast of Gaza to allow aid to arrive by sea from Cyprus. Washington continues to support Israel with military aid, but if Netanyahu goes against U.S. urging and invades Rafah, where more than 1 million Palestinians are sheltering, would Biden withhold sending American weapons to Israel?
We are working through it, and I'm not going to stand at this podium and entertain hypotheticals on it.
Ahead of the U.S. presidential election in November, Biden wants to avoid giving Republicans an opportunity to steal pro-Israel votes. But he also needs to stop progressive Democrats, young voters, and Muslim and Arab Americans from abandoning him because of his support for Israel. So while Biden embraced Netanyahu in the early days following Hamas' October 7 attacks, he's now distancing himself.
So he's kind of performing a political amputation of Bibi.
Biden's actions appear to be driven by both domestic politics and foreign policy goals.
Separate Netanyahu and his what Biden considers his toxic war policies from the state of Israel so that he can continue his support of Israel, which is really in his gut, without sacrificing his moral core.
Recently, Israeli War Cabinet member Benny Gantz was received by Democratic lawmakers, Vice President Kamala Harris, and other top U.S. officials, a sign of the administration's support should the popular centrist politician become Israel's next prime minister. But whether Biden's shift on Netanyahu will be enough to appease Americans angry at the president's Gaza policies remains to be seen. Patsy Widakuswara, VOA News, Washington.
And right now, let's turn to PTV's Pine City studios for the latest developments in the Cordilleras. Eddie?
Naimbagarabi, Pilipinas, maururang pailaang ti kabambantayan ti Camp 4 Tuba Benguet. Marigatan na iti bombero amang sibsib gaputa awan ti kalsada agturong iti lugar. Idi pa'y Martes ti rabi anang rugiti forest fire iti sitio Maramal Camp 4 Tuba Benguet. Nga midilang alas 9 iti agsapay di kalman anay report iti Tuba Fire Station. Patapata dumano na iti 5 hektarya ti maruram apasat ti bantay. Dupay kasta, marigatan ti Tuba Fire Station amang sibsib iti apoy. The 20 may kawalo a forest fire anilista iti Tuba italaang atawan.
Hindi po accessible yung papunta doon eh. Wala pong trails or roads na papunta doon. Kasi forest po talaga. Nag-fire ground monitoring po kami doon sa may Kenon. Binabantayan po namin yung sunog in case lang may lumapit sa mga nearby houses.
Ini sa bali pa damag kay Liana diskubre ti marijuana ken paltog iti sling bag ti motorcycle rider at ti makas iti checkpoint ti pulisya iti Baguio City. Pinara iti kamang ti BCPO irisan ti motorcycle rider iti checkpoint pasado alas 10 ti rabi. Imbes sa sumardeng na partak nagpataray ti rider. Kinamat iti pulisya ng tilang sling bag tinaalada. Nagpatulong da iti pulisya iti sablan ken latidad ngam napaay da amang tiliw iti rider. Naduktalan na naglaon iti bag ti may sa brick ti dried marijuana leaves ken caliber 38 revolver nga dani ti 4 abala. Sapsapulin ni tadag iti otoridad ti rider may basar iti nabati a driver's license ken alikamen na. Sumangaw ti suspect ti kaso a panaglabsing iti Comprehensive Law on Firearms and Ammunitions ken Comprehensive Dangerous Drug Act of 2002. Nagita iti damdamag manipod iti PTV Cordillera siya ni Eddie Carta na imbag Arabi.
And that's all for tonight. We look forward to y'all joining us anew tomorrow, same time, same location on your remote and or browser. And never forget to work hard, dream big, give thanks, and stay connected while you catch the news right here. Monique Tuzon here wishing y'all a restful evening ahead.